Situation in Tunisia this afternoon. There's been an attack on a tourist hotel in Sousse. Reports of a gunman on the beach. You can see there a strip of hotels on the Tunisian coast. A gunman on the beach firing at tourists. Tourists flocking back to their hotels and locking themselves in their rooms. We can speak to one of the British holiday makers involved, Gary Pine, who actually saw the attack. Gary, thank you very much for talking to us here on Sky News this afternoon. It must be an extremely frightening time for you. What did you see?
Yeah, it's about 45 minutes ago or so, 40 minutes, before 12 o'clock. We thought what was my 22-year-old son had just gone back to the sea after a game of volleyball. So, of course, we were watching him. And then over to our left, about 100 yards or so away, we thought what was firecrackers going off. So we thought, someone was celebrating. But you could see quite quickly the panic that was starting to ensue from the next resort along from us, which, like I said, is 100 yards away. So people exited the beach pretty quick. So we're all looking up thinking, what do we do? What is it? But only when you could start hearing bullets whizzing around your ears, you realise that it was something a lot more serious than firecrackers. So, of course, there was a mass exodus off the beach, and some of the guests who were probably not in the best of health. There were a few minor injuries. I think people were either through shock or through panic trying to get off the beach. But we're all now stood in reception, looking to the hotel to give us some kind of steer as to what's going on. So I don't. As we exited the beach, so the whole resort, where we looked out to the back, I'm looking out through the back of reception now, a big glass panel, there's a big pool area. So as we were coming back up through the pool, probably about 12:15, there was some kind of explosion from the complex next door. So we knew that something, a situation was developing, if not had ended. So of course we're now stood in reception. I'm stood in reception with probably 200 other international guests at the hotel, thinking, do we leave? Do we stay? Where do we go? What do we do?
Well, Gary, I know this is very frightening. I just want to update our viewers and you as well. The Tunisian Interior Minister is saying that the attack in Sousse has been against 2 hotels. We're hearing that gunmen have killed at least 7 people in those attacks on the 2 hotels on the Tunisian coast. You can see the map there and the 2 hotels involved. Gary, that's obviously horrendous news, and you were caught up in it. Tell us where you are now and what kind of information you're getting.
Yeah, well, my son was in the sea at the time, and of course my wife and myself were shouting to him to get out the sea quick. And as he ran up the beach, he said, I just saw someone get shot, on the beach. There was, like I said, there's a speedboat and a power ascending kind of area, that the people take off from the beach 200 yards away from us. And he said he saw someone get shot as he was running up the beach. So, the hotel's been very light in terms of information. So in one respect, when we got back into the hotel, as much as they could help handing out water, and ironically, there's actually guys walking around handing out beer at the moment. It seems a very strange thing to do. But as we ran back in, they were said, within about 10 minutes, go off to your rooms and knock yourself away, which I didn't think was the best idea. And then in retrospect, 5 minutes later, they're saying stay in reception, stay together. So I think just by the general consensus of opinion, I think people have stayed put and we're staying here. But looking at the concerned looks on people's faces, you don't really know what to do. So I was one of the first to think, it's probably a good of sources anyway to get onto Twitter to find out what's going on. But there was no clear indication of what kind of situation was developing, literally on yards away from the beach.
I would imagine common sense, Gary, is just telling you to sit tight in your hotel room. This is still an ongoing situation. The Interior Ministry in Tunisia confirming that the gunmen, they're referring to it as gunmen rather than gunman. We do know that 1 gunman has been arrested. Gunmen have killed at least 7 people in this attack on those 2 hotels you can see there on the map on the Tunisian coast in Sousse. We have been getting pictures, Gary, from fellow holidaymakers. This was from a gentleman called John Yeoman. He's put his mattress up against the door. Lack of information has led people like you, Gary, to just go back to the hotel rooms. And this is the measure he's taking. Do you feel safe in your hotel room? Can you hear anything going on outside? Do you have a balcony? Can you see anything, Gary?
No, I can. I did suggest to my wife and son that we take high ground just to have a look at what's going on. But like I said, I'm walking to the back of reception now where I can see out through the glass doors, and there's still a few people coming back in from the pool area. Well, actually, give me 30 seconds and I'll walk down and see if I can hear anything. so people are still making their way back in, which...
Can you hear any more gunfire, Gary, or has that all died down now?
Give me 15 seconds and I'll listen. Can't hear anything as I'm walking to the back doors.